Good idea to recuperate some shields here before continuing with that aggression.
Yeah, the strength in numbers as they position themselves on the low ground. They know they did enough damage to Lunex to at least back him up to where if they are going to get aggressive, you have that opportunity to hit the one pump or know it is going to be a 2v1 situation. Lunex just trying to breathe. Winner granting them that opportunity. Lucia and his teammate just trying to do the same thing, but the later this game goes, you're seeing players and teams kind of position closer and closer together. This is going to be zone 4, so within the next couple of zones, it will push away from Loot Island. So you see it in the mini-map now. All these players that are positioned around this side of the map are going to have to think about what's next, whether it's now or later.
You can see how many duos, too, are positioned around here. You do not want to get in a fight, as it's just going to be third party after third party, taking shots from every angle. As players now getting close to bunkers here. Blaster and his duo partner. 2 Flowberry Fizzes, 2 bananas, ready for the mobility alongside full dashes from the River of Sticks close by. You can see, once again, that water that gives you those underworld dashes, just like the medallion does. Although you don't recharge them if you don't have the medallion. Of course, unless you're able to get inside of the river once again, which luckily enough with this zone, you should have that opportunity.
What I'm doing liking what I'm seeing here is the Chain of Hades. There is a lot of different loot that players like to utilize. The double heals, the snipers, maybe even triple heals. You don't see it very often this season. Teams carrying the Chain of Hades from early game all the way into end game. And it works very, very similar to the old Harpoon. You can scrounge together loot. You can see Pixel just trading together shots. Over peak, Soul Pix takes the brunt of that last one, forced it back down, and you can see only 4 splashes left. Not a lot of heals to go around the both of them. Now they have to start making those conscientious decisions, when to heal, when not to heal, and eventually when to go for a refresh.
Could be getting a little bit more desperate here as time goes on and the rotate has to come through. They did have 3 elims to their name though, so they've started off pretty strong. As we go back to Venno and Tayson as well with 2 eliminations, but a lot healthier in terms of shields, bigs, minis, and even that Flowberry for healing and mobility. You can see 2 positioned around Lavish Lair. They have a surge base already built up as well.
У нас, короче, есть и лимон, и лайм. Привет всем, ребят.
The rotate must come through. Will they just play edge zone? What's kind of their game plan here? They don't really need to do too much, to be honest, with already those 2 eliminations of the loot they have. So I don't think they want to take any risks.
Капец, не редактируется.
Especially since you know they're one of the teams that predominantly look towards the high ground, whether they have it or not, in towards the end game. They have a sniper in their hands, so you know that's going to be a viable option later on. Zas is just trying to scrap together as much loot as possible, looking for Surge. Even though he is 16 above, he know in a split second things can change, and then he might be forced to jump into a box when he doesn't want to. And that's why you see him trying to get as proactive as possible. That and the fact that he does still have some ground to cover before he's safely inside of the zone.
I'm looking for a headshot snipe here, Jacob. It's what I want to see, especially when you're playing as a solo. You need those impact, those game-changing shots. 39 below storm surge.
Зачем они ставят конус и пол? Типа пол. Блин, я все равно не понимаю. Типа если они ставят пол и начинают редактировать, то они могут типа видеть через конус или как?
Really risky, but he's hoping that he can catch somebody off guard, possibly a solo. There is going to be one person right beneath. Storm Surge is now taking him down. This is where he's being put on the clock, and it runs out just like that. He did land a shot to go above Surge, but the 2v1, he went down immediately after.
Out of time, at the disadvantage. We're talking about advantages. So 1v1, both players are, well, both duo partners are knocked down here. As right now, all it takes is one good shotgun shot to connect as the splashes come through. Now HP advantage onto the coup. Oh, has he done it, Jacob? Got the finish on the duo partner, but still one player to take down who does not want to let him pick up his teammate.
Yeah, and I was to say, just because of those early splashes, even though he's using them on himself, it's affecting and healing his teammate, which means he is going to last longer while knocked. And you can see with his opponent no longer being in existence, he's going to be able to get that revive.
Не, так понятно, конус ставишь, но он редактировал пол, а не конус.
And they possibly saw the revive come out due to the audio visuals and let the next fight begin. 112 above the damage threshold. Chap and TD are trying to be proactive in a situation like this. Get loot, get heals, get a couple shots, and continue to move forward, knowing that the zone has pulled a little bit away from them.
О, это скин, который сегодня появился.
And they realized that their opponents were healing up. It was no longer worth it to take that risk. As now we take a look at where a bit more of the congested action.
Не знаю, как вам, ребята, мне всегда интересно смотреть, вот как профи играют. Особенно концовки игр. Как там все разворачивается, как там перестрелки. Там на 1 квадратный сантиметр 20 игроков. Когда там везде все в постройках.
Is that what you want in this situation? 99 below, as Storm is 1 second away from closing, and there it is. They have pulled it, but they need damage.
Yeah, you saw them when we first tuned in, slowly slipping down. A couple shots going to land there, but still not nearly enough. But it's the patience that I like what I'm seeing.
Я понял. Зеланд пишет, что там был только конус. Окей, я понял.
Options and flexibility to work with as they look off into the distance, seeing a couple players in a fight, and this is their chance. With the distraction already being had, they're just trying to land a few through those builds to get them above the threshold. But
у них один стреляется, другой
just like that, they
другой хилит.
To get above the threshold. Bonus points for the elimination and the match that they're trying to get, but now they just put themselves in a spot where they're stacked around.
Меня прикалывает еще вот в этих соревновательных играх есть молния, которая, ну, типа как гром. Если ты мало урона наносишь, то, ну, тем игрокам, которые меньше всего урона наносят, их еще гром бьет, типа, чтобы они сражались.
You need to get some tags, you need to do some damage. They're forced to pop their heals, pop their medkits, minis, anything they can.
Это не турнир, это гайды для чайников, как построить города. Прикольно. Смотрите, какая зона уже маленькая, и 50 человек еще в живых.
Yeah, this is just one of those tough zones when it comes to surge. Not only are you forced to rotate, especially if you get a max just like this, you still need 11 players to go down before Storm Surge turns off altogether. Crimson Noms knows that time is ticking. While they're rotating forward, they still have to get damage because now they're 91 below, continuously falling. Not even a chance to heal up just yet because they don't want to continuously fall down below that threshold even further.
Как
and
это?
it cost them. Josh Go Hard and Bimbo get the elimination and they survive.
3 on Josh now.
Обалдеть.
As all the pressure from the duos already boxed up are now getting applied onto him and Bimbo. The shots coming through,
Типа
looking to see if he can kind of take an alternate path here, but he's not gonna.
Челик начал пушить, и этот его завалил. Красиво. Мистер Бист, привет.
Recuperated that ammunition and putting it to work. Quick little headshot. Is exactly what Hen wanted now. 302 above. The damage has been secured.
Yeah, that headshot basically tripled his damage altogether. It's not even necessarily about the elimination and picking up all that loot. They're just trying to have a consistent game. Top 23 placements have just now begin to set in for this lobby. So it doesn't matter how much work you've done up until this point, you have to double it up and send it back.
Double or nothing. Teeny Chap. Not looking as healthy as Hen now at 17. They have made it into the zone though. Pulls east once again.
Смотрите, 40 человек, а зона, вон, посмотрите, какая маленькая уже.
This is good both for looking at opponents and also looks like he does have spare materials, so not even going to cost them a lot. 10 damage, not enough. Need to land more SMG shots as now he's forced 14 below. Storm Surge will start ticking shortly. 25 seconds until this zone closes. Flowberry for the mobility. And the rotate coming through.
Yeah, even though there's only 3 players that need to go down for this zone in Storm Surge, the next one is 10 right after. So there's no feeling comfortability or a chance to breathe at all for Teeny unless he keeps on climbing. And it's almost a daunting field that you're staring at, knowing that you're solo. High ground is one direction, low ground.
Да, я все понимаю, что он говорит.
He's being patient, and that is the biggest thing. Peeking through the cone, he's spotting out his biggest threats, which is highest ground.
Will they be able to hold on to it though? Holding it from first zone. First moving zone, should I say. Can be a little risky. There is 35 players up, 21 players. But they do have that medallion, Jacob. They do have those dashes. You can see them splitting it. So both of them get charges. Both of them have those options to stay ahead.
Конечно, интересно. Вот меня всегда кайфово смотреть. Особенно концовку, когда посмотрите, сколько людей осталось на карте, да? 30 человек. Считайте, 1/3 лобби на таком маленьком участке земли. И вот это вот всегда интересно смотреть.
Plenty of loot, plenty of materials. He might have to risk it all in order to get the damage he needs. Now he's only 6, jumping above, trying to figure out who he can catch slipping as he continues to move forward ahead of the zone. Boxes above Veno and Tayson, but as soon as he does, he gets ahead. He drops below the Storm Surge threshold.
Shots looking to come through. It's 37 above. That's not what you want to be at. 14 below, even worse. Raban now for Strokey. Seeing if they can creep on behind one of their opponents here. Blaster might be the one getting blasted here. Shot comes through, it's 80. Is it going to be enough to get the elim though? As he gets cracked. Another player close by, 44 white, gets the knock onto Lucia. Will he have the heals that Raban wants though?
Ох, банан. Не получилось.
Banana pop, but it's not enough.
Yeah, that shot that damaged his HP. Could have popped the other one. Spicy goal, aka Vasquez, knows that Hen is down. He has his own legendary banana popped as well. That's where you see him gaining health, moving quickly. Flowberry Fizz, this is going to be the last charge and the last attempt he really has to keep himself going in this game. He's hoping for a top 10 or better.
Taken out, sent right back to the menu.
А зачем смотреть мажор? Мне интересно. Интересно смотреть, как профи играют.
Yeah, it was just tough. One of the few solos left in the game in a world full of duos. Knew it was going to happen eventually. 11th zone, Tayson, Veno, target towards the high ground, but due to those underworld dashes, they're not going to be able to get it right on back. So it is going to be Various and Velry on top of the world now, trying to see if they
Смотрите, какая зона маленькая, 10 человек осталось.
But it's Tayson who's now by himself. Veno's going to be lost along the way. A huge shot's going to weaken him, and he goes down all together, but Tady's still popping off.
Still as a solo as well, holding on strong, has that refresh of materials now, 10 builds to work with, Flowberry coming through, a little bit of mobility, but is it going to be enough as now shields fully recuperated, a lot of solos close by, not even too much HP to their name. This could be an opportunity for a bit of impacts, a bit of refreshes, but the shots from above still coming through, the pressure is on.
Хотите факт про черепах? Конечно.
As a solo, so just making things work here in this game, he still has high ground above. Players below. He's the sandwich, the meat in the middle, but he's still figuring out a way to traverse through all of this tunnel secure. Nice shot onto a player on the low ground. Teeny could make magic happen.
7 elims. Teeny looking unstoppable, but the
7 киллов сделал, нормально.
It's a duo close by. Akira gets the first shot, 43 HP. Second shot connected as well.
Мне кажется, зря он напал. Типа он видел же.
He has 5 medkits, 4 floppers going up against the high ground. Gotta think he has this one in the book, especially if the only heals on the other side are going to be those 2 legendary bananas. So it almost leaves one choice to Kata. They have to drop down low. They have to disrupt and not let this go to the heal off if they don't have the heals themselves.
Right, they don't know what their opponents have. They could have medkits, they could have not.
И вот тут сейчас реально сводится к тому, чтобы... Все, чел уходит на отхил и будет...
4 floppers, 3 splashes. This is going to be incredibly difficult for Various.
He is just looking all over. First banana's pop.
Wait a minute.
And he also has the medkits that he was just able to find. He just found a treasure trove of medkits with the legendary banana. But we still got splashes, we still got medkits, and we still got floppers on the other side. This will come down to Storm Sickness. Who has it and who doesn't?
Who was in Storm longer during this match? That is the main question. Akira, in terms of healing, wins it out with the 4 floppers and 3 splashes, but if he was in zone longer, Various could take this home.
Yeah, we might need a flopper splash onto Akira, just get that HP back on up before the next medkit. He's definitely cutting it close, but the last couple of medkits being used on the other side. Floppers, splashes, seconds left for Various to see if it's gonna be enough. Akira down to the floppers, it's not going to be enough. Now he has to go on the hunt. He does have the dashes, but the Storm Sickness on the other side. Takata, I called it it was gonna be a big play in this one, and it cost him everything.
Various takes it home. His duo was unable
Клюв
to
черепах
disrupt,
похож на
but
птичий
with
с
those
острыми,
four
как ножницы,
medkits he
краями.
found from his opponents, he was able to outlive and take that VR.
Probably one of the longest heal-offs that we have had in 2024.
В чем прикол? Хоть у чела было больше здоровья, хоть у чела было больше здоровья, но это болезнь. Болезнь от бури. Я сам не так давно узнал об этом, что тот, кто находился в буре больше во время игры, тот под конец будет получать больше урона. Ну, то есть, количество урона, которое вы наконец будете получать от бури, зависит от того, сколько вы до этого в буре находились. Жесть, блин, это капец. Это прям было, конечно, супер интересно. Да, это называется Storm Sickness. Я знаю, как на английском, как на русском нет. Storm, ну, видимо, да, штормовая болезнь.
Yeah, we talked about it at the beginning of the show. We were talking about how high ground dynamics work, how people are going to go about winning games, and that's kind of just like a framework as to how we expect these games to go. We expect teams that are going to be on high to have that dash medallion. We expect the games to go to heal off, and we expect those teams to actually end up coming out on top. Of course, we have Velry here and Various Bro Clan, who's Fire Hunter, who's actually just been able to save a lot of those heals, and of course find those heals later on. There was a moment there as well, Levin, where actually trying to chop them down, but because they had that dash, they were just able to dash all the way back on top. It didn't affect them at all.
Yeah, no, it's so hard to take height from a team that has the dashes. It's if you're the team taking height and you have dashes, easy. If you're the team on height holding it, easy. It's a challenge.
That was one of my favourite things from the endgame moments was Veno and Tayson going, hang on a second, we're not contesting height. We can totally contest height here. Let's just shoot above us, chop them down, and you just see Clan like kind of flying out to the side. And then moments later, he's back up there again. There's nothing really that Veno and Tayson can do about that without just taking him out completely. And obviously, Mini, they were not able to do that. However, a really good start for this duo as well, making the top 10. It's the start we want to see from them.
Yeah, solid start from this duo. We talked about them at the beginning of the show as well. They were one of our duos that we want to see do good. We always want to see Tayson and Veno doing good, whether they're together or whether they're not. They're two players that have all the ability, and you saw that in these end game moments. We saw their surge was really, really good. They were able to get eliminations when they needed the refreshes, and they were playing the mid-ground layers really well. Levin, just of course, this was the moment where we saw them trying to.
Жалко, что нету русскоязычных вот таких вот стримов с Fortnite.
Dropped it to each other and actually shared the dashes as well. So for Tayson wasn't quite able to do enough here at the end, but a solid performance and a good start.
Yeah, it's always going to be tough in that spot.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the leaderboards after this one. Don't forget, guys, there are over 300 players playing tonight. So there's a lot going on, multiple lobbies at any time. We're going to try and show you as many games as possible. That's why
обе команды, которые победили, получили по 81 очку. Ой, ну в смысле, и победитель получил 81, и проигравший тоже. Блин,
there's a few questions about why did Teeny and Misha split? Why are they no longer playing together? Seems like Teeny and Chap are doing very well. As we have a little look at the next page, you see Seti and Cammy, another duo that we spoke about at the beginning of the show, starting off pretty strongly as well.
I want to know what's going to happen, though, to that play style that we're familiar seeing Misha and Teeny, of course, Terror with. Because they're so known for zipping about the map and keeping people guessing where their drops for, right? Do you think that's something they're going to take to their new duo partners, Levin?
I think so, yeah. I mean, you know, that's one of the things that excited me the most when I heard these two were playing together. I mean, the prospect of the sort of teamy strat, but with Chap doing it, right? Like, because we know how crazy of a fighter Chap is. I mean, yeah, it is really scary. The fact
Кстати, ребята, я сейчас ем пирог и другой пирог. Один шоколадный пирог и другой с вишней. Если кому интересно.
I do as well. I do as well. I'm excited to see what they can do. What more could be said? You know, they're an exciting duo. I know we like to see how different teams work. Of course, particularly splitting at this point in the year as well. I was expecting a little bit more teams to actually split and actually change up. Of course, it's a little bit different sort of format to last year, where it was kind of like a last chance major, sort of series points format. So I was expecting some teams like that maybe didn't have as good of a start to the year to actually split and come together with new players. So it's a duo that I'm very excited about, and particularly when Teeny's on the form that he is right now, particularly after that first game. Very, very exciting stuff from this duo.
We've got some more exciting footage to show you. Producer Mikkel is going to roll right now. We want to talk about a few more of the duos that we saw in-game just now. Definitely a really chaotic start, at least the lobby that we got to see. Very excited to see some of the new items as well for Season 2 as well. Here's Izrumi. You can see quite the loadout already there, Lev, at this point in the game.
Not really. Until that elim, he was pretty shambles.
He's got a banana.
No, he was pretty shambles, but that snipe did save their game, you would say. Irazumi, again, a veteran of EU. Really. Like, he's been around in EU for so long, and it feels like we haven't seen Irazumi's name.
А зачем ты смотришь мажор? Ну, мне интересно. Мне интересно смотреть, как играют другие люди. Ну, которые причем хорошо играют.
Yeah, and especially if you're one of those players that has had that success before, it can be quite difficult to sort of pick yourself up again and say, right, let's go again. Someone like Chapix in the lobby there, we saw someone that has had so much success, be able to pick up the game again and try and find some of that same momentum that you had, because a lot of Fortnite, a lot of these tournaments is momentum. You see a lot of players that have, some really good periods of time and then kind of not do so well after a while. So I'm hoping for players like that.
Надеюсь, следующая игра скоро
in the
начнется.
last few seasons to actually try and pick up that momentum a little bit and try and get back on top.
I've just realised that there's three of us. We're like the three-headed dog of the analyst desk. And you know who guards the River Styx? It's Cerberus. And he's a three-headed dog. And I think if we head down into the lobby with Mestash and Malabuka, maybe we'll get a peek at him.
Well, this is it.
О,
Y'all got your wish.
Уже начался.
And Mustache. And honestly, it wouldn't be an FNCS broadcast if we didn't bring in the reigning, the defending, undisputed champions of EU last season, whether it was an inch or a mile.
Вот эти два чела очень мощные. Малибука и Мерстэш. Это СНГ челы, один с Латвии, другой с России. И они, типа, FNCS выиграли в Европе. Все, болеем за них. Они квалифицировались уже на мажор, поэтому, по сути, для них это, так сказать, бесполезная... Ну, не то чтобы бесполезная игра, да, а просто они не обязаны... играть. Они просто играют сейчас по кайфу. О, Энджел, привет. Я один не понимаю, о чем они говорят. Не знаю, ну, я английский понимаю полностью.
To start to figure out where this next rotation is going to come in at. And you can already see they're going to try now just a little bit of a white line as they use their dashes to try to make up some of that time that they're going to be losing with the distance that they have. But see what I like about these lobbies. Kind of never know who you're going to drop into, who you're going to drop against, and we've seen already just one lobby so far, but just kind of take a look, backtrack, CZB, Nathan, they've won a game, Sammy and Fun, they've won a game, Naku and Kiri, they've won a game as well. So just a lot of action going on to really set the tone of this FNCS qualifier. And something that I kind of said to start the show off was the top 10 for FNCS Finals, Major 1 Grand Finals, had a great start here in this qualifier.
Retchguard Hellfire, 53 above, as they start off right into a bit of action. Will they be able to hold on, though?
You see 53 above, Retchguard and Hellfire continuing to rotate towards zone, but they know they're also down on surge, 13 below that threshold.
В этой игре болеем за Малибуку и Мерстэша.
So typically you would see a team try to beeline their way to zone so that way they don't stagger themselves too far. They're stuck in a position to where they have to rotate to zone and simultaneously get this damage, and that's where you're seeing the elevation and the way Refscar just used the Flowberry Fizz with that elevation to get damage. Barely push himself above the Storm Surge threshold, but at least it's enough to where he can focus on making this next rotation a success, so that way him and Hellfire have a shot on this next rotation right after that. Just see everybody really taking notice that these guys just came from the backside of the zone. They know the HP is weak. Hellfire even getting knocked. And this is where Snazy and knocking on that door. This might not be Halloween, but they do want to go trick or treat. And right now, with the knock and elimination onto Hellfire, they got themselves a bag full of treats. And
короче, союзника чела убили.
Revscar doing a good job though. He knew that his teammate
была Лара Крофт, пропала Лара Крофт.
It's about disengaging, creating space, and letting everybody else that's battling on that low ground figure out what they're doing, and that way he can just plan the next rotation. Revscar, this moment, everything is going to slow down. 44 players still left alive in the 7th zone, so Storm Surge overall, not going to be too much of a worry in this zone. Only 4 players need to nuke down, and since he is a solo, if he can find some heals, in theory, he could out-heal it. Fremont and his duo just rotating forward in towards zone. They got a little bit of a free rotation as it continues to open up. That full left side, the west and the north, will have so much space that they can work with, but ironically enough, there is one duo
да, сейчас идут прямо к другим типам.
Could try to play gatekeepers, and you can see in the minimap they are looking in that direction, so no surprise attacks at all. Fremock's the one to try to hit a little quick scope with the sniper to try to get their position. It's up to them now that they've elevated themselves up their opponent.
Интересно, кто этот файт выиграет.
Do I not? Choices are going to be made here for Fremock and his duo, and it does look like they're just continue to rotate. They prefer to have a little bit of safety, some space, because placement points have just now begun to set in.
У Snow есть красноухая черепаха.
Zone closing in. You see Fremont just waiting to the last possible moment. They do get a max pull this time around, so as easy as this rotation was, it may not be easy this time around.
Может, он скользил?
The three-headed dog must have got me for a second, but I think we're back in business. Jacob is Fremont now. Playing a bit slow, seeing if he can connect any shots here.
He likes Chicho. Very, very disappointing to not be able to watch them compete in that last major, but amount of disappointment, you know, that I have, you gotta imagine they have felt that 10 times more for themselves. And this season, I'm gonna be looking at them to really set the tone in terms of redemption, revenge on this season, show why you won multiple games in the Global Championship, and figure out a way to channel that momentum here this weekend.
Already close to first moving, as these players have to prepare their position.
Ваня Катрика. Ник. Ваня Катрика.
Will they want to play up in the action? Will they want to go to a spot that's a little bit less congested? As Banyak though and Swizzy, they're feeling happy.
Поздравляю Snow, поздравляю Angel. У Snow этот красноухая черепаха, у Angel уже котик появился. Поздравляю, ребят. Домашнее животное — это круто.
And they have the luxury to do something like that. They're one of the first teams to find that comfortable position in towards zone. And now that the team's struggling, stacking too far behind, great awareness to watch the low side of their builds. A few seconds later, they could have been caught off guard and possibly pushed into their box, but Malibuka Mustache, front side of the zone, and they're looking stacked like pancakes right now in terms of shield, in terms of heals. Nothing used on the Flowberry Fizz, and because of that, that gives them so much material and resource to save as they jump from one zone to the next.
Looking to see what they can connect here. The ones up above, though, it's going to be Fremont and his duo partner here. Taking shots with that Thunderburst SMG, connecting quite a few, but one below. How much above can they get? As they do have that positional advantage, trying to get a bit ahead here, but the Storm Surgers just keep getting at them. Only 63 above, one banana to their name. For Doxy Trip, gonna be rotating on top of their opponent's builds as they quickly switch layers, though, looking a lot more healthy now.
Yeah, it almost looks like they're giving themselves options to challenge the high ground if they want. They do have the Flowberry Fizz. You talked about the medallion. They have the mythic loot all the way from Grim Gates, and that gives you the best chances not only to go up for the high ground, but sneak up on them as well. Pablo and Bevy, they've been progressively getting better almost every season. Elimination leaders throughout the last round as well. They've heated up. They just need to execute. And it does look like Fordoxy and Trippin have found a way to solidify that high ground. The tables have turned on the free walk and they're just trying to force him lower and lower into that nest that's down below.
For how long, though? Because if the player's up ahead of zone now, look back. They could take some shots. They could try and drop down as this combat, this battle.
Ох ты ж, да кто по ним так попадает?
Ending here as Trip has been knocked. Fordoxy now left alone. He's still up above.
Они же на самом верху были.
Looking to connect these shots. He's cracked though. 49 HP, 52. The banana looking like it's going to be a savior here, recuperating that HP by the second. But for how long? As the chug splashes are forced to come through. Flowberry Fizz now for the mobility alongside that banana. Could be enough to get Fordoxy back into zone.
Yeah, the reason why it is going to be enough, and you see him staying maybe just a little bit too longer than some would hope, but he also has the dash medallion as well, so he's going to be able to cover distance in the blink of an eye. Mixed with the banana, he is looking like Usain Bolt out here just speeding through the lobby, and there's going to be another opportunity for him to try to survive. There's so much mess going around. The dash medallion yet again, saving the day, much needed, because also low on builds. A huge knockout opportunity there, but so many players catching up to the pace. He's going to be unable to clean it up, but finally taking down Podesai with much needed loot.
Жесть, ну круто, круто. Мерчстэш и Малибука еще живут, кстати. Красавчики.
Four elims to this duo, continuing to rain down shots from above. Merstash Malabuka still up as well. 200 effective HP and shield for both players. They're looking incredibly strong.
Yep, better not count it too soon. The champs are here. Merstash, Malabuka, 5 eliminations. Double healing towards the backside of the zone. Instead of playing for heal off, they're playing for a strength in numbers now because they're going to be able to sneak up on the high ground. The attempt is there, but
Опасно, ребята. Мерчстэш, давай, брат. Хорош. Ой, хорош. Ой-ой-ой.
Second shots onto his opponent, but it's a sacrifice, a trade. Malabuka has fallen. So it's all up to
Малибука умер.
He can make it happen though. If there's a player I'm confident in.
У него нету хилов.
3 elims to his name, but he wants more. The solo right below is cracked, but so is he. Good news is though, Flowberry Fizz going to be used
Ой,
to
хорош.
recuperate a bit of that shield, and one quick shot is going to be enough for the elim. Now just 3 players up. All solos, it's turned into solo FNCS.
Yeah, you gotta be careful, 70 at the bottom.
И ничего по хилу нету. Челик по нижним слоям лазит, пытается искать хил какой-нибудь. Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Нет, Мерчстэш умер. Ой-ой-ой. Обидно. Дим, чего сам не катаешь в турике? Это мажор. Мой левел это боты. Вот, я примерно на уровне ботов играю. А не мажор. Мажор это не про меня. Эх.
Full shield, but it just wasn't enough to stop Fordoxy.
Ему чисто не повезло постреляться хорошо.
He really made a statement in that game.
Не, ну все равно неплохо, второе место.
But I want to see what's going on. Frankie 11 Mini, what did we miss?
Well, you didn't miss anything. You got it all, boys, and I absolutely loved it. And yeah, again, Mini Miner, that medallion is proving absolutely essential in the end game.
Yeah, really nicely done there from Fordoxy. I mean, I did not expect that. Let me be real here. I did not expect him to solo clutch that whatsoever. Losing height for that team was a big shock to me as well. They were a team that had everything that they needed to retain height. They had the dashes, they had the bananas, they had the Flowberry Fizz, they had everything everything to not get height taken off them, but unfortunately it didn't quite work out for them there. But we have to talk about Frodoxy. What a fantastic clutch that was with that mythic Gatekeeper shotgun. He really put the damage down. It's actually how they got height as well. They just used the dashes to their advantage, Levin. And of course, Frodoxy, what a play.
I mean, this is just everything you expect to see from a coin player, right? Someone who is absolutely just popping off. Give them that mythic Gatekeeper shotgun. It does so much damage. It's so powerful. And one of the small little benefits, again, of that sort of coin, right, is the fact that in a lot of these instances where he's getting these refreshes, sometimes he's only getting siphon mats in some of these, right? But he's able to stretch even those few materials because he has the ability to just sort of dash around in the zone, right? But even with that being said, coin or no coin, let's not take away how incredible of a clutch this was. I mean, as a solo, to get this many eliminations, look, Trippen's my guy, but he did put Trippen on his back for this endgame.
Он еще так повернулся, вот этот чел вовремя, который победил.
It's absolutely no surprise that they are at the top. So many eliminations to their name in that one. And also, we talk about the fact that, you know what, you've got this medallion in the end game. If you therefore do not go and take the victory royale, then how? But actually, they had to fight for that medallion in the first place. They have to fight for it early in the game and then hold on to it. So absolute kudos to these two. But of course, also fantastic to see Murstache and Malabuka taking it to the end as well. I loved watching that final four, the solos trying to clutch it out in those last moments, Levin. And
да, я тоже.
I did question Murstache and Malabuka.
Вот она говорит, что ей понравилось смотреть вот концовку, там, где было 3 солоса. Мне тоже. Мне нравится, когда соло остаются. И мне нравится, когда игра сводится не к тому, чтобы заесться аптеками, а к тому, чтобы постреляться. Кто хочет факт про тасманский дьяволок? Давай.
You know, again, a nice attempt, and good to see that these guys are still going to be competitive in these lobbies. They're not settling for anything other than trying to, you know, take it all, get the win from height, and that's a good sign for this duo.
Yeah, and this is exactly what they've been doing. I've been watching a lot of their games so far this season, and that's exactly how they're trying to play. They're trying to take the high ground from the backside. What I've noticed is that when the high ground is spraying, when the height team just keep on spraying, they don't use that as an opportunity to drop down. A lot of teams are like, right, height is spraying, we're on second, we should just drop.
Сейчас должна начаться еще одна игра, мне кажется.
Take high ground. A lot of their ammo, of course, is going to be used by that top tier team. They're always going to be jumping up there, using those bananas. They're going to use that opportunity to buy themselves a couple of.
Кстати, вот в этом сезоне прикольная тема, вот бананы. Они же еще восстанавливают здоровье, и в принципе, если у тебя есть банан, ты можешь просто остаться в зоне там, съесть банан, и он тебя будет подхиливать, пока ты будешь бежать. Это забавная тема.
You're both just getting sprayed and chopped out. Maybe Moustache went the other side. Maybe you can help Malabuka a bit more and they both stay up as a duo and the game goes a different way. Either way, again, it's the start of the season, right? They still got a couple weeks until we get to grand finals.
And they're already looking insanely good. Let's take a look at the standings because we want to find out how our other duos are going, how they're doing in the several lobbies that are taking place. CZB and Nathan clearly having another great day in the lobby. Any other names that are sticking out to you there, Minnie?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing Benno and Tayson there moving up some places. We saw them have a very good start, of course, as well. Pink and Vico, a duo that I'm excited to see how they can continue to develop this season as well. They're inside of that top 20 as well. So solid stuff there from some of our big teams. We get to see some other names on the list as well. Iras and Chari, of course, another big name that we see. Kami and Seti actually moving down after that first game. The difficulty is we don't actually know whether they've played their next game yet, whether it hasn't actually gone on the leaderboard. So I'm sure for a lot of these players, the leaderboards are not really going to be their main focus.
Хватит болтать, ребят. Давайте уже следующую игру показывайте. Я хочу посмотреть.
You know who I'm missing at the moment, guys? I'm missing me some Thomas HD and also some Queasy too. So let's check in with them, with Takata and Jacob.
Следующая игра, да.
Not gonna lie, I thought she was gonna.
То есть они начинают не с самого начала, они начинают с середины игры, когда уже там 50 человек осталось.
It's Thomas now. 6 splashes, 4 bananas in hand. Queasy already knocked down another. 3 elims now for Queasy. It's just a solo trying to escape, seeing if he can get away.
Ой-ой-ой.
But it's not going to be possible. Another one on the board.
Wow. What a treat tuning into the match. And honestly, if we have Malbuka and Mustache being the undisputed champions of last major, this would have to be our #1 contenders, Thomas and Queasy. And they're showing us exactly why yet again. Immediately taking advantage, pouncing on the team. Diox and K trying to have a little sneaky advantage on their side, missing the crucial shot. And now that puts them at a disadvantage if Queasy and Thomas want to take this fight.
I don't think they will, though. That's the scary part. If he were to land that snipe, especially if it was a headshot, could have turned the tables instantly, but with no shot being connected, just some pop shots with the SMG.
Ну да, они реально пропустили важный выстрел, и типа уже нечего было им даже ловить против типов, которые на горе. Ё-моё, Вася.
Incredible start in this match for the duo. As Marius now playing it a bit safer here, farming up alongside his drop spot, has already a mythic in hand, full materials, good amount of loot. Like this loadout, they're perfectly set up for this stage of the match.
Неплохо залутался, чел.
And one thing about Marius, him and his
медаликом,
duo
да?
have been just surpassing expectations, I feel like, almost every single time, setting records in solo cash cups, being somebody that I feel like everybody has their eyes on each and every single time. And they had 21 elimination game in round 3, the most single game elims and points, 107 in EU during round 3. So the thing about this team is, okay, they might mess up one game, they might mess up another game, but they will always have that pop-off game in their match history that you have to watch out for.
As a reminder, this isn't your usual set lobby finals. There are 250 duos competing today, so 5 lobbies being played out at a time, which is why we're getting straight into the action back to back to back during these matches. As we got Pink and Vico now taking some pop shots with the DMR, both players back and forth. They are close to the river of sticks, so they do have those dashes stacked up, as Misha and his duo partner on the other hand are kind of looking to see if they can get themselves a bit more damage. Only 1 shot as well in the sniper rifle.
Luckily for, I think, everybody in this position, the river sticks that you were talking about is close by to either direction, whether they move towards the south or the north. So disengaging might not necessarily be the bad thing here in terms of survival. But
Misha FN.
Миша.
Английский комментатор говорит Миша.
Become a focus of Loot Island all the way off on the side, and Loot Island is safely in the zone 4 now, which means the position that Misha and Lucia are in, it's going to get worse. In the next zone, it will pull away from Rift Island, so if they don't start acting fast about where they're going to rotate to, they're going to have to use those heals a lot earlier than they would have to hope.
I mean, yeah,
им нужно сейчас бежать, потому что зона далеко.
It came down to a heal off in game 1. Those are incredibly useful later on if they're able to make it to those last moments of the final moving zone.
Привет, Кловин.
Volko and Vortexers, on the other hand, in an incredibly solid spot here within the zone.
Я смотрю этот стрим не ради каких-то граффити. Как это? Я не думаю, что вообще за просмотр стримов дают что-то.
That they needed now back again. Full mats. Nice position. Opportunity to refarm brick. Looking really strong for this endgame.
Ничего себе, так строят постройку из камня, чтобы подфармить камень.
They rotated into enemies, and the only reason I'm thinking why you would do that
Сколько
is because
здесь
you might
людей,
have
жесть.
forecast tower getting ready for the next zones. We'll figure out in a few
Плутон,
minutes
привет.
once the zone does pull, if it does pull in that
Какая
direction.
стадия?
That is going to be huge.
Ну это первый
for their
квалификация.
game,
Ну это
especially
первый
since they're next to the
Qualifier.
river sticks to get those dashes again, but Razumi just becomes a target, trying to reunite with his teammates, dropping down from height. He loses so much shield and HP.
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой,
and he doesn't
Вася.
really have any to regenerate, and now he's being aggressed onto.
Split up from his teammate, as now it looks like they've been able to regroup, but is it going to be enough? As the shots come through, it's going to be 61 below, but it quickly changes to 393 above as it updates. Grape Cat and his duo partner wanting to do a bit of damage, but Irazumi is going to be able to get out of this situation.
Yeah, much needed. Not only they don't really have heals to continue fighting this, it's the damage. They
Тигрица
are
классный скин.
300 plus damage above that threshold. It's almost a moot point unless you can get the eliminations to scrounge together those heals. But you see action going down all around the map.
Шквал пуль.
Bettis just 37 below, becoming focused. He does have some heals to attempt to out-heal it, but there's so many players that do need to go down, it's almost not even worth it.
Fico and Pink in the same position as we saw them previously, right above the River of Styx, with some duos close by, as we'll see right now, Jacob, if your thesis was correct, as the zone has pulled towards a little name.
Потеют как ВСП. А что значит ВСП?
Volko and his duo partner based up at, if I'm not mistaken, so either they got really lucky, they do have that forecast tower.
Ё-моё, Вася, убегай. Ты чё?
No duo partner, no HP, and now back to the line.
Они просто взяли, ворвались к нему, да и все. Им по барабану.
Especially when you're these guys and you know he's healing, backing up, possibly weak. Great timing there to really take advantage of that one.
Я не понимаю, что он не уходил. Он же видел, что там два типа. Какой ему смысл был там оставаться? Ему надо было отойти еще больше.
But both of them close to max. They have plenty of charges. They're going to be able to save a lot of materials
Это
as
такая
long as they
типа
play their
вышка
cards right
укрепления или
in
как?
this next one.
I believe. I was going to say, I think this is the base that Volko and his duo set up, but it is not. It's another base incredibly high up. Unfortunately, not in the zone, but
Скайбаза, короче, такая у них.
do have those dashes, so they will be
Для
able
Органа.
to make it on in here. Flowberry is popped.
Ё-моё.
Dashes come through, flying through the sky now. Will they land on top of a duo? Is the question. Looks like it's gonna be on top of a solo. Could be quick pickings, but they put themselves into the focus now, as the solo has escaped right onto another duo. And Skies now, they have enough damage, but look at that loot, Jacob. Gray hammer pump shotgun, blue thunderburst, no shield, no HP. They want a refresh.
Yeah, and that was a sound play. I give him a 10 out of 10.
Жесть, так прикольно, когда игра сводится к реке, когда все такие постройки возле реки строят. Или над рекой, это вообще прикольно, еще прикольней.
But I think just going up one layer has done enough to kind of stop the focus. Shots coming in their direction, but now they have to worry about what's next. 43 damage above the Storm Surge threshold. With this next rotation, they have to start getting information where players are at, where you're going to need to rotate, and where you're going to get surge from. And just like that, Sangi Lemarius dropped down, instantly getting a knock onto one player. They see his teammate nearby, but it wasn't much, Takata. It wasn't much in terms of Storm Surge.
Not at all. 36 above, about to be below if the opponents continue to do damage. It keeps ticking lower and lower.
Меня вот интересует, вот когда в таких ситуациях люди остаются, там наверняка везде вокруг куча шагов показывает, и как им вот ориентироваться, как им понимать, какие шаги важные, какие нет. Вот это вот прям для меня интересно. Потому что я ни во что не играю, кроме как в этот, в нулевку. А, да-да-да, я понял, Плутон, короче, потеют как все, я понял. Типа как все потеют, ну да, согласен, ну блин, так это ж квалификация на мажор.
Once again, recuperating the dashes. Taze now going to be the one getting the pressure.
Ой-ой-ой, Вася.
To rain 462 shots with that SMG is now even some rifts coming through. It's Thomas HD Queasy though, who are looking incredibly healthy, almost 900 damage above. But still.
40 человек остается, и посмотрите, какой маленький участок земли. Я вот всегда этому удивляюсь. Как они так выживают?
But as the rotate has to come through, I'm not sure how much longer this aggression is going to continue.
Посмотрите, сколько народу на маленький кусок земли. В нулевке такое вообразить нереально. На нулевой высоте такое невозможно. Уж некуда будет спрятаться технически. Стольким людям.
So last to use that jump pad will be the advantageous position.
Non-stop pressure from Ziandi. looking to see if they can force them off the island as Caden Diox now.
Ой-ой-ой, Вася, не повезло тебе. Прилетел, называется. Не смотреть на радар, я так делал, он отвлекает даже когда много людей. Я понял. Я понял, типа просто играть по звуку, а не по этому визуальному радару, да? Я просто вообще не играю в этот, знаете, типа в стройку, поэтому для меня вот эти вопросы интересные. Но я более-менее понимаю, что происходит. Вот. Типа, если раньше я вообще не понимал, что это они тут строят, редактируют, потому что сам не умел ни строить, ни редактировать. Сейчас я чуть-чуть умею строиться, чуть-чуть редактироваться, типа, и я более-менее понимаю вообще суть того, что здесь сейчас происходит. Не знаю, как у вас с качеством на моем стриме, но у меня более-менее плохое. Галимое. Галимое качество стрима именно, который я смотрю. 26 человек, и вы посмотрите, зона уже практически на нуле. Да, там челики на острове были, кстати. Вот сейчас комментаторы говорят, что типа вот зона сужается и нужно это. И нужно уже с острова будет ему летать.
He did pick up the Mount Olympus medallion as well. It's going to get him some speed, a little bit of boost on the jumps, negate a little bit of that fall damage. But the bananas, he's using them as much as he can. Top 11 situation here. He's just trying to skate past everybody else. Top 10, more points in terms of placement, but he's running out of resources in terms of heals. He's going to have to start moving forward. But I think with the zone pushing back, that gives him a couple extra inches in terms of where he needs to be.
A bit of time. Marius Sangil still both players up, still healthy. After they're able
Вот это самые такие моменты тяжелые.
4 splashes in hand, still have flow berries, still have ammunition, even materials. They've got it all. Duo partner as well. They can't take any huge risks here. They just want to survive as long as possible as ZND has actually chosen to just tarp out directly from the Rift Island, and now it's even pulled back.
Ой-ой-ой. Жесть.
Turns it into a 1-versus-1 against Vortexers, but can he close it out?
А, не получилось. Там вообще другой челик влетел.
Not giving him a chance to use the bananas, the rest of the resources he has left. But Marius passing on over the heals, even though he is going to play Disruptor. Sandguild might try to heal off whatever he has left. Remember the Underworld medallion that'll get siphoned as Andy
20 HP.
Back towards his zone. Legendary banana pop. He just needs time to get the HP back on up. But Marius is now on the hunt for eliminations and a big shot. But the siphon goes through. The siphon back to back for Marius. He's staying alive on the low ground. The legendary banana. Marius is making an impact.
He is not done yet. Banana dropped for his duo partner. He said, I'm going to disrupt. You heal off. Takes a shot on the pink. It's enough to crack him, but not enough for the Elim as Sangil now has that extra banana.
Румынская мафия, посмотрите. Румынская мафия.
Is it enough as the heal off is coming through?
Romanian has been almost uncontested at the top of Rift Island throughout these last couple of zones.
Чел, ну что ты творишь?
He thinks it's over, but it's not. Pink goes down, but Romanian is still alive and he's
Хорош. Румынская мафия чисто закрысила наверху и захилилась.
He takes that opportunity and runs with it.
From the Rift Island, staying in the clouds throughout the whole.
Я не помню, это ФНКС третий или четвертый этап, или второй. Это мажор, это квалификация на мажор.
The clean victory royale.
And look at that angle right there. He's off of Rift Island. He's watching everything happen.
Ну, я на самом деле не знаю. Поправьте меня, если я не прав. Но написано на стриме FNCS 2024. А, да, это FNCS 2, Qualifier 1. Ну, короче, квалификации на FNCS.
I think at the end of that game, we are going to see quite a lot of duos move further up the leaderboard. So many eliminations under the belts of those final duos. I have to say, amazing to see Vico and Pink doing so well, but we've got to start with our winners, 11-2K, Z Andy, and the player I'm calling Romanian Turtle.
Yeah, Romanian Mafia in-game is his name, but he's known as Turtle, an up-and-coming Romanian talent who has decided to pair up with the most veteran, most well-known Romanian player we've had in the scene, Andy, and they're looking pretty good. I mean, that endgame did play very favorably for them mini-miner. I think we'd say we don't get
румынская мафия всю игру наверху просидела.
Sort of moving zones, and nobody could really do anything about it, and it sort of put them in a really good spot towards the end there.
Чисто все время наверху просидел, подлечился.
The island got into that end zone, and of course it saved them so many materials. They were able to heal up there as well, but they had to make the play themselves. You saw them rifting up there at the front side of the zone. They had to get there. They had to make that play. So you saw the experience of Ziandi there. We talked so highly of him previously, to come back to the game and try to grind again with an up-and-coming player, as you mentioned, Levin. It's nice to see those plays really being made and not just sitting back and letting all the other teams make those decisions. So nice stuff from this duo, of course, as you mentioned, up on the island. It's going to be a little bit easier from there. You can save materials. You can get all the heals that are there as well. They just tarped over like they were on height, which they were for that end game. So for the teams down low, it made things a little bit more difficult. There was no real high ground takes or anything. So for them, nicely played.
We've got to talk about Marius and Sangild as well. So many eliminations to their name, definitely racking up loads of points. I believe that they may even have had a medallion under their belt. They definitely did have some kind of medallion, because I think they had the Zeus medallion, in fact, I should say, Mini-Miner.
I think it was the Siphon medallion that Marius had, because whenever he gets those eliminations, he's getting that Siphon. You can see it right there on that elimination from Luna, and that's exactly what Marius is sort of known for at the moment. He's known for high eliminations. He's known for landing over there at the
Этот Мариус, конечно, крутой.
Medallion, which just allows him to keep that momentum, keep that control throughout these end games, Levin. It just gives him the freedom to just do what he does best, and that's just completely frag out.
I mean, I used to be the guy that was known for just hyping up like EU players and more specifically UK players. I might just become like the Danish guy. Sorry's rule, step out of the way. Like, I am now repping Denmark for life, because these Danish players are just putting on a show. Last game it was Fredoxy. This game Marius was really strutting his stuff. And I mean, the fact that we weren't able to get second there was just super impressive. I mean, at points in the endgame I thought, okay, look, this is going to be a bit.
Даже то, что этот чел второе место занял, типа это реально круто
очень. He deserves all the hype he's been getting on TikTok and on social media right now. He's going to have to put in a really good performance, and he did. And yeah, the Siphon coin obviously coming in clutch. Like, he doesn't survive those situations without Siphon, right? And so it definitely came in huge. Sangild, even at the end there, I thought Sangild, okay, third place is going to be enough. He doesn't have any heal off. Takes out Pink. These guys on a roll, man. They got serious momentum right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how well they can do. I think we're ready to look at the leaderboard now and see how far those eliminations have got them. And as you can see, shooting up that leaderboard, Sangild and Marius, even though they didn't get the victory royale Mini-Miner, they had definitely got themselves into a very favorable position.
Yeah, nice game from those guys, of course, as well. In there, in 6th place, it's Vico and Pink as well, who've had a very hot day so far.
22 убийств на команду, это очень много.
Game number 2, and of course they're coming in 3rd place. What a fantastic game from them. We haven't seen them before, I don't believe, so it's a nice way to see these guys, how they're playing in the end game. And this duo have always had potential, Evan. They've always had the right ingredients to perform, and it's nice to see them doing it now. Hopefully that can continue for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm really high on this duo, man. I really think
Мариус отыграл смело на первое место, там просто хила не было. Да, согласен, тут он абсолютно, типа, не повезло найти, типа.
It's left to be seen, but if this game is a sign of what's to come, it's very hopeful. Moments like these, right? They're just so composed ahead of everybody else in the end game, right? Set teams up well for refreshes, and Vico and Pink are always going to be.
А где они сейчас рыбки ищут? Типа, вот у чела 5 рыбок. А где их сейчас искать, эти рыбки?
Vico used to be the sort of unchained fragger who really sort of wouldn't always make the best decisions. Now sort of Pink's reined him in a bit more control, and so they will just continue to consistently make it to these end games. Again, about delivering a bit more, Pink maybe will be let down a bit by the fact that he didn't quite, pick up Sangild.
Вот мне кажется, вот со стройкой, когда играешь, очень большую часть играет рандом. Вот серьезно, мне кажется, вот особенно в таких играх, когда там на маленький клочок земли человек штук 40 остается, да, мне кажется, это очень большая вероятность, что тебя просто рандомным киллом там убьют, хотя ты сильно играешь. По скиллу ты там прям лучше, чем многие. Вот. Но мне кажется, типа вот в нулевке бы такого не было. Ну, не, конечно, в нулевке тоже есть такая вероятность, что там типа кто-нибудь где-нибудь закрысит там или что-нибудь такое. Но мне кажется, в нулевке как раз-таки по большей части побеждали бы те, кто сильнее. Ну, не знаю. Это тоже спорный момент, потому что на самом деле тоже надо знать, где, когда врываться, где, когда там улетать, там перетягиваться. То есть, мне кажется, тут тоже в этом есть какая-то наука. То есть, не все так просто. Ну что, давайте уже следующую игру врубайте, а то что-то тянете время, ребята. Давайте. Ну, мне кажется, уже сейчас запустят. Последнюю. Или предпоследнюю, не знаю. Ну, я это последнюю посмотрю, потому что хочу еще почитать Дюну. Там сейчас на самом интересном моменте читаю. Ну, почти на самом интересном.
And we know what he can do when he gets in those solo situations. Not quite to the extreme of we're used to seeing in that particular game, but nice game from them nevertheless.
Yeah, nice game for Queasy as well. 5 eliminations. Boys, do you know any Polish?
No. Tiny bit. Dzień dobry.
Come on, give me your best Polish.
Dzień dobry, dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry. Dziękuję. Polska Gurum. Let's head over to City.
Она спрашивала, кто говорит по-польски. Я mówię по-польsku, я mówię. Видимо, тут сейчас какие-то поляки будут. Кэми и Сети поляки. Вот я за них тогда болею, потому что я хоть и белорус, но живу в Польше, и Польша для меня это вторая страна, так сказать. Вот, и поэтому все, болею за Кэми и Ман Сити.
The Polish Panthers, as Adam would like to call them.
Polska.
Taking more of an uncongested rotate around the edge of the zone, as they already have 2 elims to their names. They've done a bit of damage. They've gotten a good amount of loot, and now they just kind of want to make it to zone. Get based up and maybe even take some shots with the players who are also rotating in these angles. But so far, nothing too risky for Tayson though, and Venno closer to the Rift Island. Much more of a popular location, but as zone has pulled far away, all the players as well are starting to rotate away. So far, nothing too crazy.
Здорово, давно не был на твоих стримах. Крупные турниры по Fortnite, по типу НКС. Все интересно смотреть из-за обновления игры и появлению новых игроков. Да, согласен.
Tayson and Venno just strike again. I feel like that duo had no idea what was hitting them, what came coming. I just have.
Я даже не успел заметить, как там кого-то разнесли.
They're like, what just happened? Both players taken out in an instant headshot snipe from the laser, while his partner. I mean, he was just trying to line up.
Мощно.
Didn't have to do him like that. Come on, Venno.
Ой-ой-ой, мощно.
Both SMGs looked like another snipe shot hit him. This Bimbo.
Блин, какой у этих челиков, вот знаете. АИМ. Они вообще так хорошо вот следят мышкой за чем-то. Это прям то, чему надо учиться и учиться. Я очень... Не то, что я вообще... Я и рядом не стоял. Я вообще плохой игрок. Типа я просто играю в свое удовольствие. Но вот челики красава, реально потеют и на профессиональном уровне играют. Привет вновь, Дим. Vocal Trap, здорово. Здорово. Тайсон еще игру не забросил, удивительно.
Could potentially position themselves with a max zone pool, but only time will tell. Psycho Cool and Volt TX not too far of a rotation for them, but just like everybody else nearby, there is so many players getting stacked up on this side of the zone. It is going to start to become congested. So you start to wonder, is it worth it to take some store damage, go around everybody else, try to get in front if you do have the heals?
А кто такой Тайсон? Нет, там дело в низкой чувствительности и все. Да не. То есть, если ты низкую чувствительность поставишь, то это не гарантирует тебе, что ты будешь вот так вот прям круто стрелять, круто наводиться. Это прям очень сильный скилл. Очень сильный скилл. Причем, чем старше человек становится, тем слабее у него реакция. И, ну, например, я уже точно не смогу играть, как смогут играть вот мои подписчики там 12, там 15 лет. Я уже точно не смогу так круто играть. У меня точно нету такой реакции уже сильной. Не, ребят, так я же говорю, типа, может для вас, да, я, например, для меня это тяжелый скилл. Почему, типа, например, киберспортсмены в основном это молодые люди, вот, например, по контре посмотреть. Все подростки там 18, 22, 24 года, и там уже потом спад идет. Мне уже 27, скоро 28. Фалкон Тайсон сильный игрок, который не пропускал каждый ФНКС, по-моему. Короче, игрок-старичок в киберспорте, но до сих пор показывает достойные результаты. Вот мне кажется, Буга тоже это такой старичок. Я подписан на него. Ну, который выиграл Fortnite World Cup соло. Я вот на него подписан, смотрю за ним постоянно. За его тиммейтом Авивом. Ой-ой-ой, Вася.
Both duos left as a solo. They might be able to pick up their duo partners, but with the third parties coming through, the shots, the pressure being applied, it's going to be incredibly difficult. 1 HP.
1 HP. 1 HP.
Wow. Storm literally forcing him inward, and that was just a tough situation. They're trading shots back and forth, getting each other low. But then everybody else around him hears all that commotion going on, and they begin to spray in that direction, making what could have been a dream for some into a nightmare. Now they're forced to kind of scrounge together. A lot of the materials being expended.
Малибука вот тоже это вроде такой старичок, он довольно давно играет, насколько я знаю. Он типа очень давно начал играть эти турниры. Вот знаете, вот я сейчас сказал, что типа спад идет, например, там после 24 лет, но всегда находятся исключения, да, там старых игроков, ну, более старших игроков и в контре, я уверен, и в Fortnite. То есть, да, вот тот, кто хочет больше всего, тот, кто тренируется, тому ни помеха, ни возраст, ничего. Наоборот, челики, которые взрослые, у них больше опыта, больше иногда скилла. И хоть если они могут проигрывать, например, в реакции, то там, не знаю, в стратегии, мне кажется, могут и выигрывать. То есть это все такие философские вещи. У каждого из киберов было свое прям время, так что сейчас у Малибуки и Мирсташа большие шансы самые. Да, он тоже давно в киберспорте Fortnite, у него скин есть, по-моему, в честь его выигрыша на World Cup и карьеры. В принципе, когда его выпустили в турнир в 17 сезоне, чуть-чуть его не забрал. Прикольно, Дайко. Дайка, а чё ты не участвовал в турнире в пятницу, который организовывал Денис? 4000 баксов награда была. Кстати, в следующую пятницу будет турнир по этому. В следующую пятницу у меня на стриме будет турнир по нулевке. Тоже там на какое-то количество баксов. Так что...
With so much placement to be achieved here, with 22 duos still up, 42 players, there's a long way for Tayson to go in this match.
В пятницу был турнир, вот мы, Денис организовывал, да, был турнир. один челик, который ЕДХ до НДХ, он со стрима, вот чел тоже часто смотрит меня, он все 3 игры выиграл. Типа там мы играли 2 разминочные и... Мы играли 2 разминочные и 1 решающую, как бы, да? Вот, и он выиграл все 3. Вот. Те, кто хорошо строится, вот... О, вы видели, что он сделал? Он застроился над рекой, построил дырку вниз, упал и обратно застроил себе пол, чтобы этот рывки себе взять. Прикольно.
It's going to be an incredibly difficult rotate as you'll have to climb that whole mountain that you can see here, the whole ridge.
Жалко, что вот этот Ками один остался, видимо, его польского тиммейта уже все вынесли. А какого формата турнир был? А я ж вот рассказывал только что. Просто вот стройка. Мы нашли OG карту. Ну, карту OG сезона. И вот на ней играли. Там, конечно, баги были небольшие местами, но не критично. Короче, вот на OG карте со стройкой играли. Типа заходит 16 человек, вот максимальное лобби, да? И вот 16 человек сражались на этой карте.
As now they're kind of deciding, you know, what should we do? We're so high up. Flowberry popped, trying to get ahead here to rebuild on up. As Tayson now rotating along the edge of zone. It's dangerous though. He has
Плутон, я нулевку не умею, я только в стройку умею. Ну не знаю, я, например, в стройку не умею. Но в нулевку я тоже не умею, на самом деле, я думаю. Я просто играю на любительском уровне. А, все. Поляка убивает. Все. Убили тех, за кого я болел. О, вот, Тейсон, да, это тот, про кого вы говорили. Его тиммейта тоже убили. Ой-ой-ой. Тейсон. Ему надо лутно идти. Ой, Вася, давай. Живи, дружок. Ему надо что-то найти по-любому, потому что... У него неплохой лут, вот автомат, дробовик, в принципе, все, что надо. Но вот надо по-любому ему хил какой-нибудь.
He's getting closer and closer to needing that impact, needing that elimination. Nathan, though, connecting nice shots, but his duo partner...
24 человека вот на таком маленьком клочке земли. Как это? Это невообразимо просто. Плутон, я на турнире Медаза не хватило одного поинта. Это, конечно, обидно, бесячая фигня. Тайсон, а не Тейсон. Ну, извините, я не разбираюсь.
And now he has to really dig deep to figure out what he's going to do next. Another team going down, top 11, pushing forward. Nice shot towards the backside. Cobra is going to get knocked, but it's in the zone.
А, в зоне он не может отойти. Кошмар.
Still getting a good amount of elims. These points are massive for Tayson, already at 112. But just 2 takes away from being eliminated the storm. He's forced back up a layer. 3 builds now. Pressure is on. 1 build now. 0 builds. He needs to make something happen.
Yeah, he was almost second height. He became the focus. He can't even pause here to use the Flowberry Fizz and get shield.
Блин, он красиво отыгрывал. Молодец.
CZB would take him down as soon as he reaches the low ground. And Nathan and CZB could be the first team on the day to have 2 victory royales in this qualifier.
Я согласен вот с Дайконем отчасти, да? То есть нет такого понятия, как prime время. Просто мне кажется, большинство киберспортсменов, которые вот когда-то круто играли, они выиграли вот что-то крутое. И потом, знаете, подумали, что вот, я победил, я типа на вершине. Но на самом деле, вот это тот момент, когда ты уже сдаешь позиции. Потому что, как только ты побеждаешь и думаешь, что вот ты крутой, находится какой-то новичок, который в это время тренируется, а ты кайфуешь, отдыхаешь. И он становится лучше. А вот тот человек, который победит и вот тот человек, который победит и осознает, что... Ой, извините, просто мне тут в наушнике говорит голос, и мне сложно свои мысли сконцентрировать. Короче, вот тот человек, который победит и осознает, типа, что вот, если я сейчас не продолжу тренироваться, то я потеряю свой скилл и в следующий раз не побежу просто. Мне надо, наоборот, стараться еще больше, чтобы удержать позицию.
At the backside, he had more than enough heals because of the fact that he had high ground for so long. He was able to pass everybody up and save those to the perfect moment. But another game down, another game out. Let's throw it on over to our analyst desk to break everything down.
Thank you very much, boys. And we saw Fortnite and his partner just heading for that high ground as soon as that zone pulled away from the river.
Привет, а как на компе скачать Форт? Из какого приложения скачивать? Привет, Никита, неживой. Тебе надо скачать Epic Games Launcher. Смотри, вот я тебе сейчас покажу. Epic Games Launcher. Вот, скачиваешь Epic Games Launcher. С сайта epicgames.com. Вот, скачиваешь Epic Games Launcher и... Ну вот, на кнопочку нажимаешь, скачиваешь, и тебе просто здесь, в магазине, надо будет найти Fortnite.
Yeah, they did, and of course, I mean,
Вот,
Archie's in the
вписываешь
finals today, so if you want to
Fortnite.
see Archie, Frankie, then maybe we'll see him at some point during the day.
И скачиваешь
Nice
вот
high
отсюда
ground win, pretty
Fortnite, он
typical stuff,
бесплатный.
you know, getting the heals there, of course, holding on to hype for so long. Nathan and CZB, although they had a lot of eliminations down there, were very consistent on that mid-ground to low-ground layer, they just couldn't find those heals, right? They couldn't find those refreshes with the heals, so didn't quite work out for those guys in the end, but pretty solid stuff on high.
Yeah. Also pretty solid stuff, we have to say, for Tayson as well, because the way that he was solo trying to clutch that one out was quite impressive. But we've got to talk about the winners as we're seeing them right now. Mr. Cow just moving around that final zone like an absolute pro, as he is, Levin.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend to know how to speak that language, but I will say...
Say moo! That's how you speak, Cow.
He sort of did the job he expected everyone to do, right? In terms of just dropping down as that fragger, try and stop anybody from having any heal of potential. They all sort of did the work for him, really.
А Fortnite можно на компьютере скачать?
Job complete, and they move into the next game.
Можно на все компьютере скачать. Ну да, на всех компьютерах можно скачать. Да.
Yeah, I mean, to solo clutching this early on is such a feat, and I know a lot of people would have expected it to be Veno was the one that would be solo clutching in the situation, but no, let's put some respect on Tayson's name throughout this entire end game. I know, Levin, you were thinking the same. There were so many moments for us, it's like, he's done. Like, that's it. There's no chance he's going to get a refresh here. Look at it. It was this moment here. 12 HP, no chance of refresh, no chance of eliminations, and he just kept proving us wrong, Levin.
I mean, it was just sad when he gets the one here. He can't even go get it because he takes any damage to Storm. He's a goner. And then he exits the box.
Блин, у чела тоже не было этого ничего, да. Конечно, обидно.
You mentioned, right, you know, people expect Veno usually being the one to solo clutch. People sometimes, you know, forget that a lot of Tayson's FNCS wins have come from solo competitions. He is one of the best solo players of all time. And, you know, sometimes he does like
Круто, а то я и на плойке играю в Fortnite. Окей. Ну, на компьютере тоже можно, конечно же. Даже на телефоне можно. На андроидах.
I was about to say, we've just seen them in this top 10 the entire broadcast so far, and Nathan is just going from strength to strength. It feels like every lobby we see him in mini-minor.
Это название, что ты говорил, надо на английском писать, да. Epic Games Launcher, да. Ну, можешь и на русском попробовать написать Epic Games Launcher. Launcher.
Performing very well as a duo. We've seen these guys performing in the past as well. They're not a brand new duo that we're used to seeing. Look at that for CZB. He knew it was over for him, but it was still a good, solid performance from those guys. And of course, rightly so, being in the first place position, getting some eliminations there as well to go along with it.
Жесть, чельки делают по 19, по 20 киллов. Это прям мощно. Ну, в команде.
You just never know who you're going to get with.
Yeah. But these guys seem to find it. Of course, looking at some of the players who, again, are sort of in good spots right now.
Блин, мне интересно, мне кажется, если сложить все вот эти цифры, здесь получится больше, чем 100. А как это может быть? Я не понимаю немножко. Может, я как-то неправильно эту статистику читаю?
Yeah, I was about to say mini minor.
Yeah, I mean, I think we both just looked at it at the same time. We just our eyes.
Мистер Савадж и Монграль, ну да, они как-то слабенько.
I'm excited about this duo because a lot of people would have written them off. You know, they would have been like, yeah, okay, they had their moment in the grand finals.
В Google пиши Epic Games Launcher.
I didn't expect them to make the grand finals last season, and even less so this season. I was like, yeah, surely not. They can't do it again. But yet again, they're proving us wrong. They're proving me wrong. They're proving a lot of people wrong, I'm sure, as well, by just consistently putting up performances that we just don't expect. A lot of that's down to Mr. Savage. He's playing incredibly at the moment, and Mongrel is there too. So it's going to be a great one to watch this season, I'm sure.
I mean, mini minor, it's Mr. Savage. There are so many believers out there, and hopefully their beliefs will be well-founded.
Мистер Савадж вроде вот тоже популярный игрок, я даже на него на Твиче подписан, но типа как-то вот он плохо на турнирах выступает. За все игры киллы. А, окей.
With Vidil and Resin. And it looks like they might have just cleaned up a quick engagement here, Jacob. Curious to see if they were able to pick up some elims. 2 on the board. It's Vidil who got them. That's a good way to start it off.
Perfect way to
Смотрите, дождались этого бункера.
Potentially spawn on the map, but it's 6 that actually get activated.
Застроили бункер прям по последнему слову техники.
And it's not about 115, 110 that you can actually access these vaults, and they're all ready to go in.
Ну блин, слушайте, залутать бункер это прям мощно. Это прям нужно быть смелым.
So now they have so many options to work with in terms of picking the perfect loadout for them.
This is a huge start, honestly. With the 2 elims, the bunker, you said it yourself. Not even too many duos close by. Now the freedom to kind of choose how they want to pick their rotate here. It's only 3rd zone, so they have a lot of time to kind of plan it out. Even see if they want to pick a path where you can get more damage from afar.
Интересно, кто-нибудь к ним придет, попробовать отобрать.
So early on. We were talking about them as well. Mongol, Mr. Savage. They've been performing very well so far in 29th place, 114 points. I mean, we talked about it earlier on. To have a good shot of qualifying to the semis at least, I believe you just needed around 120, maybe 130 points. And with that,
как он что-то видит через эти
кусты? Too much work in the next qualifier. So definitely a strong start for this duo.
And if you guys are at home wondering who is who, 009 is going to be Mongrel, user is going to be Savage, just in case you're watching a lot of these plays and you're wondering who just made such a magnificent
Вы видели?
Now we can differentiate.
Он умер из-за того, что коснулся дерева. Упал.
But luckily for them, the only team that is nearby is the one that is already concerned with the forecast tower. So not too much loss there. You keep your shields, might have to use some heals, but not too much of a worry since they didn't go down altogether.
Could have been a lot worse. It could definitely have been worse. True like Chicho. I mean, they're looking good too. Not in zone, but it's not like they need to be right now. Also 2 elims, just like Vidil and Resin.
Неплохой автомат чел нашел золотой. Мне всегда было интересно, как эти проигроки ищут лут хороший. Там что? Потому что вот на кого не посмотришь, у всех, блин, прям автомат там золотой, фиолетовый. А в игре самой попробуй найти там. Ну типа, как будто, знаете, как будто в соревновательных играх процент выпадения больше.
Easy rotation as well. You know, see him in the zone. It's easy to get worrisome for a team like this. But as you see, it's a free rotation. Legendary bananas. You got to imagine what other heals they do have in their inventory. So it's not too worrisome just yet. Maybe when we get
как на телефоне скачать Форт? Честно говоря, я не знаю. Я никогда не играл, но можно. Я знаю, что точно можно. На андроидах.
Pixel.
Ого, за Уикенда играет. Кажется.
Interesting situation here. What's gone wrong here, Jacob? Looks like a player is hiding. Will they be able to find them?
Ванетти, привет, как настроение? Привет, спасибо, настроение хорошо.
They are in the zone, but it's not a problem with the 2 versus 1. No big mistakes, and it should be all right here. As now, right-hand peek for the opponent. Needs to find a different angle. The chase continues. No shots landed yet. No connections. This could go terribly wrong, though. As for Strokey's lost his duo partner, Ravon has been knocked. Now it's a 1 versus 1. What has gone wrong, Jacob?
Yeah, it just looks like they are just getting too aggressive, trying to use their strength and numbers of a different way, but the longer they stay in the zone, their HP is going down. It makes them susceptible to one-shot opportunities right now. And with
Он застраивает его со всех сторон.
It's forcing Fast Roki to use a ton of those heal early out of the solo, but he's still not backing down. Great way to trade shots and still hold confident and to hold true in a situation like this.
You know there's no time to pick up his teammate, so he's looking for the aggression. He might just have to go for that E-lib. He's telling his opponent, go to zone, let me pick up my duo partner, but he's saying, no, no, no.
Интересная ситуация.
We're battling to the end. For Strokey needs to just play aggressive here. He does have enough medkits to out-heal him, though. Kurama has 1, but for Strokey has 3, so if his ultimate game plan is just wait until he can pick up his duo partner, it's just going to be so difficult. It's going to use so much time. I don't know if it's the right play. Now dropped down to 17 HP.
Хорош.
About to get taken out.
Челик развалил двоих.
A 1v2 situation. That is just
1-2.
because now imagine the confidence. He turned it around. He has the heals, the Flowberry Fizz, and that was the shot that started it off. A monster shot on the Roban, and the fact that he was able to stay alive. He was just slipping through every nook and cranny. Finally gets the piece control.
Обидно для этих двоих челиков будет.
Back to the next lobby to queue up for another game.
Absolute tragedy for the duo as we swap over to Rift Island. Griff swaps.
А сколько лет тебе? Мне 15. Мне 27.
As a reminder, there are rifts below the island that will appear that players can use to rotate. There's a flag to capture up top here alongside some launch pads you can also use. And it looks like there's 2 duos that were kind of put head-to-head up top. As Yarko.
Oh, no.
Ooh, was he?
He's trying to
go down. He did.
Ох, какой дроп
Taking himself
хороший.
out to fall damage, unable to waterfall down the rift. That is not a way you want to go down, Jacob.
Золотой дробаш никто не подбирает. Ну, это стройка тут. Автоматический дробаш ни к чему.
It's just not going to be enough. Even shots just going through those builds. That's what you get for using wood instead of brick or metal to try to shield and hold through against some of those shots.
We'll see what his duo's going to be able to do now, though. As he's been forced into an even more difficult situation. He will be able to pop the rift, but there's going to be a lot of players kind of looking around now. I don't know if he's going to try and fly away, if he's going to hide. Yeah, he's going to try and hide on the Rift Island. It's the better play here to not get lasered by the other players in the surroundings, but has he picked a good enough spot? Jacob's the question. Will we see another 1 versus 2? Vadil on the feed taking 1 out as well. We can see what it was. Resin 0 on the board. Vadil 3 now. Both players eliminated. That's 4 for the duo. Inside a zone by the Grand Glacier.
This is a team, you know, you think back towards Major 1. I know it gets overshadowed by how close of a race it was between Malibuka, Mustache, and Queasy and Thomas.
А ты сейчас можешь Форт поиграть, показать, как ты играешь? Конечно же, это же. Ну, я вообще сейчас не... Если ты хочешь посмотреть, как я играю, у меня там есть видосы. Видосы у меня на канале, можешь посмотреть. Я думаю, не сильно много чего поменялось. Или стримы, можешь последние стримы запустить. Вот сегодня мы, например, там стрим запускали с Джоном и Виками. Играли только на скинах с Джоном Виком. Вот, и там тоже неплохо получалось побеждать. Если интересно, можешь посмотреть.
130 points is what it was. So if you're able to secure that, it should not be too difficult for you in the second qualifier. So a lot of these players are getting closer and closer to that threshold. And like Sato being one of them. And with the positioning they have already, opportunity to go even deeper into zone when it starts closing. This could be a big match.
I definitely could. And, you know, Andalex and Sato are one of the few teams so far in this round to have multiple double-digit elimination point games. They were almost able to close out one with a second place. The other one, not so well, though, with the 18th. Overall, I feel like they have 128 points. 32nd, give or take, because obviously there's so many lobbies going on. They positioned themselves well on the leaderboard, but I guarantee you, after their performance in the last FNCS Major 1, that's not where they want to be. They feel like they deserve to be at the top of the leaderboard. They just have to prove it here with the rest of the game.
Spike BS, слышишь? А почему у тебя такой ник? Просто в Валоранте там есть такое понятие типа Spike. Это случайно не с Валоранта?
As they're seeing what they can get, they do have 0 eliminations, so they could use a bit of damage. We'll see how below or
Spike это еще вроде шип переводится.
So they definitely need to get some tags here. I believe we talked about it earlier on, Jacob. The Storm Surge threshold has been appearing, I believe.
А можно, кстати, в друзья Форти инвайтнуться? Можно. Заходи на стримы, вот когда будем играть. Ну, в среду, например. Вот я в среду-пятницу стабильно стримлю. И если вот мы будем играть на стриме, то я добавляю всех, с кем играю. А просто так, друзья, типа, не добавляю. Я добавляю вот только когда играю. И вот, да. Ох, жесть.
That's Lazen, who lands a couple of good laser shots. The Mythic Gatekeeper making its way through.
Ой-ой-ой, мощно.
And he makes it work, picking up not one, but 2 more eliminations, getting all that resource. And because Skyjump is still alive, I don't want to curse it, but we might have a chance to get him back. Well, that one goes out the window, and it wasn't my fault either, Takada.
Io Incoba, блин, со стройкой это уже вообще другая игра. Вообще непонятно, что происходит. Ну да, ну я более-менее понимаю, что происходит, но просто... Но я сам не смогу так играть. Это как Counter-Strike, вот смотрю, я понимаю, что они делают, но сам я бы так никогда не смог бы играть. Так вот и здесь то же самое, они застраиваются вообще моментально, они... У них понимание есть, типа, что делать. Я вообще...
I know he had help from his duo, probably getting some of those eliminations, but since he got the eliminations, this is a game right here where Lazen, in theory, can score every single point for his team. He has a couple so far because of those eliminations, but he needs at least one team to go down for those placements to start to set in as Chari and Geras. They take the high launch pad on top of the mountain, and now they can pick the perfect spot in which they want to base up, keeping elevation underneath their control.
Shots continuing to be put onto Cherry and Giros here, but not going to be
Чапай, мне 50 поинтов не хватило в финал эквальнуться.
Nичего себе. Savage as well boxed up close to everybody else here. So many big names. Trulex, Chicho, Mongol, Savage. I believe I've
Дельтаплан ракета крутой.
So many players boxed up,
Ну да,
close to each
согласен.
As the duo here swaps and Griff, they're 230.
Есть один блогер.
Good news is snipers in hand,
Как
Jacob.
его?
Is he going to connect the shot?
Как его зовут? Сейчас.
You think he can do it?
I feel like it's a must. It's not whether can he do it. He must do it because remember, Swaps is the one.
Ладно, я не хочу сейчас стрим перерубать. Короче, такой теннисный мячик подкидывает, бьет ракеткой и вылетает такое облачная такая подушка такая вылетает, облачко такое вылетает и он на нем вот так вот вниз падает. Вообще классно, короче, красиво выглядит. Я не знаю, как это называется, если кто-нибудь знает, скажите, пожалуйста. Типа подкидывает ракетку, бьет по мячику, и этот мячик превращается в облачко, которое тебе под ноги падает, и ты вот так вот спускаешься. Очень красиво.
Look, I don't know how fresh that air is, Jacob. No shields. All they got is that golden ticket with the legendary Reaper sniper rifle. The shots are gonna need to hit, as we can see now. The rotate from Mongol Savage will be coming through shortly. They shouldn't have as much as a worry for the amount of damage they need to do, being 335 above. With just 38 seconds left, we can see what Vidil and Resin have been doing.
Wow. They literally make it look easy. And the way Vidil is just bouncing in and out of those pre-edits, just making sure that they have space just in case the wall gets taken. Very, very impressive. You see everybody trying to rotate towards the front side of the zone, and with the elimination 6 so far, there's 637 damage above the threshold. Allows them flexibility to go to the front side of the zone, but we continue to look at the players that aren't feeling comfortable, that are forced to really make a play and a statement here. But once again, Storm turns off before it's too late, but Swaps with no builds loses his teammate.
Be careful, Swaps, because now he's forced deeper and deeper into the zone. 29 HP as it keeps ticking. Still no heals, still no shields. 15
ни хилов, ни щита.
Here in the corner. Sniper's reloaded. He needs to land that headshot as the pickaxes come through.
Дим, привет снова. Кто выиграл? Это ж квалификации. Тут пока нету победителей. Тут чисто все на очки играют. Тут нету одной игры, которая типа решает. Тут просто за каждую игру, за каждое убийство там ты получаешь очки. Ну и за разные другие вещи, не только за убийство. Вот, там. И ты получаешь очки, кто больше всех очков соберет вот за несколько игр, тот и побеждает там. Типа. Да и тем более это квалификации, тут нету такого типа одного победителя, тут все квалифицируются в следующие этапы.
Yeah, big moment. They even chop him down so nobody can contest them. Sato and Alex, another elimination. 4th one in the books. Much needed resource and material as they continue to try to push through every adversity being faced in this match. You see the Fizz coming out. They know the next rotation isn't going to be easy. Just like Mongrel and Savage, they've had 5 games. This is their 6th. Contested, not doing so well. But when they are uncontested, they have moments just like this. They can look brilliant and can look like contenders.
Куда вообще Малибука пропал? Ну, тут же 200 команд с чем-то там, 250 команд или сколько играют. То есть сейчас в каждой игре разные игроки. Они по очереди играют. Ну, то есть сначала 50 команд одних, потом 50 команд других, 50 третьих.
As another elim gets put on the board, it's 4 now for Mongrel and Savage.
I'm continuing to use every opportunity uncontested as possible. Once again, reaching the front side of the zone, but push comes to shove. Another team is waiting for an opportunity to jump in the box. They separate Savage and Mongrel. Now Savage is left by himself, staggering, getting damaged by the zone. Quickly peeks in for a shot, tries to go around the corner, but the same fate happens. He goes down, but now it's Vidil. Reason they have a chance at the high ground, and they're trying to chop down Chiri's and Garis to make it a confirmed success.
Giro's still up though. Resin has been cracked as well. They're fighting back. They want to maintain this height. They're so high up. They're getting to the ozone layer. They have to be careful. Good news is Flowberry, though, is going to block that fall damage. They're able to drop back down, connect, and now once again,
ой-ой-ой, какой выстрел прилетел.
Shots dropped to 27 HP, no shields, but he has 3 medkits. He has 3 big pots, but he has 0 materials. He cannot cover himself.
Да, он не смог закрыться.
Yeah, but he's done so much damage to the high ground team. Gears now left all by himself, scratching together the heals. If it does come down,
решил.
And as he does it,
Он, наверное, хотел конус сверху поставить, но типа материалов не хватило, и поэтому умер, когда лечился.
Down to the backside of the zone, everything comes crumbling down for them.
Kurama, X continuing to get low now. Have they claimed it? It looks like they have. 30 damage shot to their opponent, but with 0 builds, how much does your teammate have? Are you going to be able to keep tarping out, or do they need to find an impact here as Andalex drops down as well? All the players drop to the snow now. Feet getting cold as Kurama continuing to take out more.
Ой-ой-ой.
One more elimination before going down. Kurama gets another elimination, bringing the team total to 5. Passing up 200 points and giving themselves a moment to breathe on the low ground, heal up as many of those shields as possible, because they know the inevitable is about to happen. Somebody will drop down and try to play Disruptor.
3 duos up, 5 total players, as now his duo partner has been taken out. Just 3 little fishies to use to out his opponents. It's not going to be enough as Chicho now just 1 tick away gets dropped as well. X still up. Fishy's popped. It's going to be Trulex with the 2 medkits. This looks like he's going to be able to take it. 4 elims for Trulex, 3 for Chicho. Heal up completed. Victory Royale God.
Yeah, all he had in his back pocket was a small fry. You know as well as I do, a small fry just isn't going to be enough when you're hungry for more. Trulex and Chicho, the redemption from last major is real. And that's the thing, Takada, you know as well as I do, when these competitors miss out on an opportunity to play on the grand finals of EU, they don't take it lightly. They hit the lab and they come out swinging in the next major.
Great way to close out the match. I mean, they played it safe. We've seen a lot of heal-offs, but you got to do what is granting those victory royales. Didn't even have to.
Это типа ФНКС наподобие. Ну, в смысле, это и есть ФНКС. ФНКС 2024. Квалификация на второй ФНКС. Фух, ребят. Слушайте. Спасибо вам, что смотрели. Я запустил этот стрим, во-первых, потому что мне было интересно, во-вторых, всегда прикольно смотреть за тем, как играют профи, и может даже самому чему-то там научиться, знаете. Всегда полезно бывает. А плюс еще есть, я думаю, что мало кто вот смотрит там такие стримы. Может, когда-нибудь я буду смотреть, переводить, комментировать как-то вот такие стримы. Я не знаю. Я думаю, в любом случае неплохая идея смотреть с чатом такие трансляции. И да, потому что это круто. Я желаю вам, ребята, всем хорошего вечера. Я пойду еще почитаю. Уже довольно поздно, уже 9 часов у меня. Я хочу пораньше лечь спать, потому что завтра утром у меня есть дела. И да, все. Желаю вам доброй ночи всем, ребята. Спасибо всем, кто смотрел. Спасибо Чапай, что смотрел. Спасибо Клови Нуб. Спасибо Мультифора. Спасибо Spike BS. Спасибо. Еще был. Спасибо Дайка. Спасибо. Короче, всем спасибо. Вот, давайте, ребят. Все, всем счастливо и всем пока.